Okay. I also encourage you to on your video because I don't want to see your handsome face. Actually, also I don't like talking to the wall. Okay, we have somebody joining in now. Okay, we wait for Hong Chu and then we shall start. Hi, Hong Chu. Glad you can join us.
Hey, oh, yep.
Yeah, we are starting already. So just went through the house rule just now. If you are not speaking, you can mute your mic. And we encourage you to turn on your video so that we can see your handsome face. Why today everybody don't want to turn on video? Okay, congratulations for coming on this call. Appreciate all your time spending with us today. This topic is about crisis cash flow canvas. Why I decided to do this is because I thought it's actually a very good opportunity to share some of my experience. Although maybe some of you have known some of these practices already, but it's always good to do a refresher. And also I just wanted to share my other experience on how I help my clients whenever they go through the crisis. Is that okay? So today I'll just take 40 minutes at a time and let's get started. So today's what crisis cash flow canvas is about is an important tool that we can use during crisis. It's just a piece of paper, but this piece of paper on how you use it can essentially guide you and navigate your family out of this crisis without losing sleep. So I think many of you know what this is already. Yeah. So essentially a crisis, right? In my many years experience, I realized that there's a process to crisis. In general, most of the people who's undergoing through a crisis, they always have this denial stage. And after denial stage, when they're very depressed already, then eventually they still have to face it and look out and find out what is the core problem so that you can fix it. And then eventually the last part is to fix it and then move on to being happy again. So similarly, like this whole situation, I believe many of us who, if you're on this call, you probably have a family to support. If you're in business, you probably have a lot of staff to support as well. So it is very important to implement some of these strategies, which I'm going to share with you. And of course, if you how many of you are actually working harder from home? If you are, click yes. Yes, yeah, so am I. But I do get people who are in the crisis feeling very depressed and all they do all day is scroll FB. So of course you can scroll FB, you can take your mind off it and continue to not focus on this problem, right? But eventually, what is the option? The option is to continue to scroll FB until you're dead bored. Or what you can do is to actually face up this problem and rise to the occasion and fix it. The faster you face it, the faster you fix it. So I just wanted to share this photo. Although many of you know me for so long, I think not many of you know me that I was in crisis already since 2015. If eventually this canvas that I'm doing here is something which I vomited out in the last 2 days because a lot of the processes was in my head that I went through in these past 5 years. So I think some of you have seen this photo, right? If you have seen, comment photo. Okay, nobody have seen. this is actually the start of the my peak in my life because I managed to buy 16 property in 3 months. It is also the start of the crisis for me. Why do I say that? Is because, okay, how many of you feel that it's good buying 16 property in 3 months? If you feel good, type property. Oh, okay, everybody don't think it's good, huh? Okay. Yeah. Why is it good for me is because I actually accelerate towards my financial freedom, right? But why is it bad is because if you don't have a very strong base, you actually crumble faster. So especially when you are doing group buy, I think the main point what I'm trying to say here is that these 5 years I've actually been in crisis, and I'm quite blessed to actually have people supporting me, still continue to teach me where I can learn and grow, and also emotionally I'm being well supported. I think the truth is what I'm trying to share here is that a lot of people see me as a successful entrepreneur, but many do not see the hardship and struggle that I've put in the last 5 years. Sometimes we also are forced to lead, and employment is not the solution. And that's where I actually was forced to do business because I want to grab any chance or hope that I have. So that's why I set up J Advisory. What is J Advisory? It's actually a personal finance academy of helping middle income families navigate and strike out of this crisis without losing sleep. So I feel that this is my calling also because when this crisis hit, when you are already in crisis for the past 5 years, actually it's a relief to me because now it's like reset from zero again. And in fact, because of the 6 months moratorium that the bank have given us, that is more of a lifeline for me and my team. So why am I sharing this with you is because I have a vision of creating 1,000 millionaires families by 2023. And I set this goal in 2019. And yeah, it is very slow because I was doing it with myself and my team of 2 advisors. So in this crisis, I decided to pivot to this education online platform, so to be able to equip more people that they can come out of this better and also create more millionaires. And also why do I do that is I have a vision to have enough good people to make a positive impact to the world. So the saying of bersatu kita teguh, bercerai kita roboh. I'm not a guru. Whatever I'm sharing with you is not fluff, but coming from experience. And I don't intend to sell you anything, but I actually want to share actual learning experience, either from my own experience or other people's experience. So I think many of you seen this before, opportunity in crisis. A lot of people see crisis, but how many of us see opportunity? If you see opportunity, type opportunity. Okay, everybody see crisis. Okay, got to work hard there. By the end of this session, my promise to you is that I want to share with you. Oh, thanks, Dennis. Thanks, Keman. You see opportunity. By the end of this session, I promise to share with you how you can know where you are exactly and how to come out of this crisis clearly. So this is the roadmap which I've developed, the 3 Ds of coming out of this crisis and thriving. So the first D is actually decrease. Over here, you want to decrease whatever income and commitments that we currently have. I think from the government point of view, they also give a lot of incentive, like TNB got 50% discount and a lot of deferment as well, which is the next part where you can defer your loan, you can defer your insurance premium, You can also defer some of your staff salary if you are in business. So for example, like some of the decisions that we made for our business is we had no choice but to defer the 50% of our top management salary. And the last D here is duplicate. Duplicate here is duplicating your income and profit, especially when you have covered the base, which is your decrease, and then you have done whatever necessary to defer, then you will have sufficient cash over here to take advantage of the opportunity that is in the market. So duplicate here means income. You can continue to duplicate income if you are in those industry which is thriving right now, like healthcare, community-based industry, MLM, all those working from home type of business. And profit will be, I see a very big opportunity in stocks. So how many of you would want to find out how to profit from stock market? If you want to type stocks. All right, Dennis. All right, Junyo. Let's move on. So this is a survey which I did. So before I go into the details of this survey, what I wanted to share is that once you know the 3Ds already, right? Before you go into the 3D strategy, you need to know where you are right now, and that's very important. You can't fix a problem without you knowing where you want to get to. So for example, if you want to get to UK and you don't know where you are, you don't know you're in Malaysia, then how do you actually chart a path of how to get to UK, right? So today, essentially, my promise is to let you find out where you are today so that you can actually go forward with the 3D strategy. So over here, I just want to share that, as you can see, many of us during crisis rely on our emergency fund. And you agree with me that many Malaysians do not have much sufficient emergency fund. If you can see my screen on the right, you can see that majority of the GLC and MNC employee tend to have a higher emergency fund of 4 months. But the SME, although is the backbone of the industry, right? Their employees or their bosses have about 2 months of emergency fund. And now, of course, last but not least, I believe this is more like self-employed, which is having 1 month of emergency fund. So this survey came in quite timely. It's from the Department of Statistics Malaysia, which surveyed about 168,000 people. So if you don't have enough emergency fund, then where are you going to access your emergency fund? So I'm going to share with you later some of the places where you least slightly thought of where you have money stashed away. All right. So where do you stand? Do you know what is T20, M40, and B40, and whether you are which category? I think majority of us know B40 is bottom 40%, M40 is middle 40%, T20 is top 20%. And the reason why I wanted to focus on the middle income family is because you realize that the biggest taxpayer are from the middle income family. But when you hear the Bantuan Prihatin Nasional, you'll be very frustrated, like me as well, that many of us do not actually get assistance from the government. So I decided to do this is because we are neither the top 20, we are neither the bottom 40. It's always the worst to be in the middle, right? So to put it into context from the Bantuan Prihatin Nasional, right? This is what the government defines. If your household income, that means your husband and your wife is total income earning less than 4,000, right? You come under the B40 category. If you are less than 100,000 a year, then you come under the M40. And then if you are earning 13,000, anything above 100,000, basically, you are top 20. Yes, I also know that a lot of us say that, I'm top 20, I don't feel like it. So this is what I mean, you know, a lot of us are trapped between, you know, the Pareto principle, the 20% always is the 20% gives 80% of the sales. So over here, right, the top 20% of the 20% is, which is the 4%, is really those people who are rich. And unfortunately, we probably be stuck in the top 16, which is this layer here, right? Which people think we are very rich, but actually we need all the help that we can get. So I also understand that some of us who are in business, right, because they don't draw a lot of salary from the company, they also get some Bantuan Prihatin Nasional. If you're one of them, comment below BPN. Don't worry, I won't report you. I won't judge you as well. Anybody, BPN? Okay. Having said that, even though, as you can see, the B40, which is 4,000, and the M40, which is 8,000 and below, you see that if you're living in KL, a lot of us, or rather, if you don't have 6,500 per month household income, you are considered urban poor. Couple with 2 children, can you see this on the right? So it is very competitive to live in the city. And I think I've consulted a lot of clients who even have a husband earn 10,000, wife earn 10,000, but they can barely make ends meet. Yeah, probably they will just be comfortable, cooking at home. Not much entertainment, not much like going out to live. Yeah. Okay, so having shared with you that, first thing first is that if you're in a crisis, right, you need to stay calm and clear your mindset, because when you're in panic mode, you can't do anything. Second thing is to have constant communication with our family, especially our wife or our spouse, to make sure that neither of us are choking each other down. And thirdly is to prioritize and take action, and take massive action. It's because if all the plan we do and we don't take action, it's really mean nothing. So I just want to share with you this crisis cash flow canvas, which is a very simple tool which I've used or I've created that basically allows you to key in your income and expenses and to show you a surplus and deficit. Let me walk you through what I mean by showing you the example. All right, so there's a normal column and there's an MCO column. So what you want to do is that you can put in your salary that you receive. So for example, this client of mine have a salary of 8,000, has a rental income of 1,000, and also a claim reimbursement of 1,600. So total income he has is about 10,650. So expenses, normally, we want to just calculate the top 80% of the expenses, which is normally these items, right? And the 20%, which is normally the cash one, is the hardest to track. So we will just leave it up for now. So as you can see, for this guy, loan is 2,005. He doesn't rent because he stays in his own house. Insurance is 1,200 per month. This is monthly, by the way. Car loan, he doesn't have any car loan. And this credit card spending here is for your average monthly spending that we charge to our card. It's not the outstanding, it's not the installment that we pay. This is just to get a good feel of what is it. So you can take this and just do it in like 2 or 5 minutes. Then this guy got a personal loan of 1,050, which gave him a total of 8,009 expenses, which result in a surplus of 1,007 per month. However, in MCO, because his company implemented deferment of 50% salary, we want to calculate the actual cash in. So you can see salary here is 44,000. And he's also kind enough to give his tenant a 50% deferment on rental. So that's why he's getting a 500 ringgit rental. So that totals up about 4,500 income. And then during MCO expenses, thankfully loan was deferred, so it's zero. Insurance, although he can still apply for the deferment, it's only applicable for people who have business that are affected by the MCO, but he didn't apply. Credit card here, because we all spend less because we don't need to go out, pay petrol, pay parking. And then for most of us, we actually cook at home. So we actually save a lot. So he saved about 3,001. Personal loan, he haven't restructured yet. So the total is like 5,003. So you can see he have a deficit of 878, right? Moving on. So if you have a surplus, congratulations. If you want to look at next of how to profit from the current situation, because since you have surplus already, then we want to see if you have an emergency fund of more than 12 months, 6 to 12 months. 12 months is to be very safe. So anything more than 12 months, you basically can go and invest. But what if you have a deficit? So if you have a deficit, right, the next thing you need to do is to find out where are all your emergency fund, the money that you have put away. So I developed this crisis funding canvas, and it's split into 3 categories. What you have emergency fund for yourself, what you have that the government is giving, and then the alternative. So you want to access the self and the government first, and alternative is really on a need to basis, last resort. So let me share with you the example that I went through with my client. So this guy, he actually have 1,000 ringgit in savings, 1,000 in current account. Fixed deposit doesn't have, and insurance cash value, actually many of us have, but we don't know what's the amount. So now would be a very good time for you to register online for the insurance login and then find out what is your insurance cash value and update here, because it's very useful. Some of us also have a housing loan flexi account, which you have access in the account where you can use. Some of us have foreign currency account. Some of us have gold. Like this guy got gold, 340 flexi account, 1,000. And then some of us have CDS account, where we have money in the CDS account, but we never buy any stocks. So this gives him a 3,400 emergency fund that he has for himself. And then if from the government standpoint, since his household income is between 4,000 to 8,000, so then he qualified for 1,000 Bantuan Prihatin Nasional, which April he'll get 500 and May he'll get another 500. We also can withdraw from account 2 in the iLestery initiative, 500 a month. So over here I put 6 months, which gives him 3,000. And for PRS, right, we actually also can withdraw 1,500 from account B if some of you have it. But for him, he doesn't have. So total, he has 4,000. So 3,000 plus 4,000, he actually have 7,004. And last but not least is the alternative part, which is the business, if you are a business owner. Employee, if you are working for somebody else. So you can see, you can access emergency fund on a critical level. You can borrow from friends and family. Another alternative is to go to P2P financing, which is like Fantastic and Funding Society. I've seen people do property refinancing. Even myself, I've done property refinancing. For some of our companies who have retained earning, this is a good time to access that money to declare dividend. And of course, the special relief fund, which I heard, which government is announcing to help SME, I heard is finishing very soon. But it's also not so easy to apply, which I am trying at the moment. For employees, similarly, the only difference is you can go to the bank borrowing personal loan, and you can ask for a loan from a company. So in this case, my client actually had a 90,000 profit from the property that he bought, and he do a refinance. So based on prudent calculation, his property is worth 700,000. 80% he can borrow out from 700,000 is about 560,000. His outstanding loan is about 470,000. That's why the excess 90,000 he can access on. But of course, whatever you do here, please, please, please don't go to the money lender, because going that way, it just is a one way in only. There's no way out. So how long can you survive? If you were to do it for yourself based on your own emergency fund, right? As you can see, the total here is 3,004 plus 4,000, which is 7,004, divided by the deficit of 878. So my client can last for 8.5 months, which is quite a relief for him, right? Because if the next thing, if this is still 1 or 2 months, then he would have to go to do property refinancing, which 90,000 can last him a long time, but that is not really a sustainable solution. So what we want to do is we want to rely on our income or sales if you're doing business, right? That's why these past 5 years, I've been really going out there to learn how to sell and really, yeah, rather than just depend on the assets that I have, because it will just run out. So how do I use this canvas for husband and wife who both earn income? I did an earlier webinar and somebody was asking this. So if you are husband and wife earning income, you want to do each one, and then you combine it later. Of course, you have a scenario where you have husband earn, wife don't, then you is one income pay the whole family expenses. Yeah. So, but we also have families who the husband and wife keep separate finances. It's also fine. Then basically just everybody do for their own one. What if I can't survive for more than 1 month? So I would suggest you to PM me on the site. This is something which I've helped one of my clients do, and quickly access some of the alternative emergency fund which I've shared just now. Some of the creative financing which I have done is fundraising, but during this period, it's actually very tough to do fundraising also. But when there's a will, there's a way. So what if I surplus and have more than 12 months of emergency fund? Yeah, I think many of you on this line fall under this part. That's why you don't have a question. So what you want to do is really to take opportunity in the market right now. If you have a business and you have cash reserve more than 12 months, in fact, you can expand or even buy over other businesses. If you don't have a business and you're an employee, what you want to do is to really seek out the investment opportunity out there in the market. Yeah. So, for example, right now I'm actually looking at stocks. So just to share with everybody, if you don't have any question, that's the end of my presentation. How many of you would be interested if okay, how many of you have gotten value today? If you have, can you type value? No, how many of you have gotten value so far up until here? If you have, type value. How many of you benefited from this sharing? Basically, that's what I'm asking. Okay, I intend to do another webinar, which is talking about the decrease